And they showed that this is something that was required in Kenya. So at Generation Kenya, we have programs that actually help the youth to gain employment. And that's something that we're very passionate about. We want to make an impact into the community.
Yeah. And the topic is all about empowering marginalized women through skills for decent work.
Yes.
Very powerful stuff. So what are some of the barriers, biggest challenges, so to speak, that marginalized women face in Kenya when trying to access decent work?
So one of the biggest barriers starts with the area which these women are in. So for example, our target audience tends to be people from low-income communities or people who've not been able to gain further education just because of the circumstances around them. So the background is a big factor on that.
Yeah.
And then there's also something that we offer that is pretty key, and our mentorship docket, it's called the psychosocial support, because there's the self-esteem aspect. When you come from some of these backgrounds, then you tend to believe like you cannot be anything better than what you are. So that's where the marginalization comes in. And also there's the stigma, some of these people from the backgrounds they are in or what they have been through in life, then there's a lot of stigma that comes from the community around them.
Which regions, by the way, have major prevalence when it comes to stigmatization in the country?
Sorry?
Which regions have a major prevalence when it comes to stigmatization against marginalized women?
Mostly it's the rural areas. Let me not mention specific regions to be specific, because when it comes to marginalization, sometimes it's a cultural thing. You'll find there's some cultures or some religions where a woman's role is not to be seen. You're supposed to be behind the scenes. So it's something that we're trying to tackle in as many counties as we can, but it's mostly in the rural areas. In the urban areas, it's still there silently, but it just depends, let's say, on the industry, because you have some industries which are more male-dominated than female-dominated. Yes.
Okay.
So when you speak about marginalization, maybe just to paint a picture to the listeners out there, what kind of marginalization are these women experiencing for you now to come and see, like, we need to help you out? What are some of these issues they have?
So some of the issues they have, you will find, like I said, because of the maybe lack of opportunities or lack of exposure, you will find we have maybe a lot of young single mothers that we are dealing with at the same time, or we have the lack of education. Someone is from a family where the male child was more educated than they were, or we have the lack of resources. Maybe the parents actually wanted to make a better life for them, but they were not able to get any further education from where they were.
And which skills are this that you equip them with?
So we have several programs that we do. I can mention the current ones that are ongoing right now. We have one called the Sewing Machine Operator Program. So the Sewing Machine Operator Program is in the textile and apparel industry, where they're actually taught technical skills on how they can go about it. And the best thing with it is that you qualify not necessarily because of your level of education, but it's something you learn to do hands-on. So we don't focus so much on your level of education. We want to target at least Form 4 leavers so that they're able to learn something. Of course, we have to also work within the the minimum age of employment, because our plan is to teach you these skills and then you go into employment. So we have the Sewing Machine Operator Program. We have another one we're really proud of, the Digital Freelancing Program, because especially with this one, you're able to do it from any county. As long as you're able to get access to internet and devices, you can be doing it from any country. Any county, And then we have the Digital Customer Service Program. So this focuses on the BPO industry in the country. And then we have the Retail and Restaurant Program, which focuses on the retail industry and also on the restaurant. So as you can see, we are targeting various industries at the same time and teaching these young people skills that will actually get them into employment.
Of all the industries that you're trying to target, which is the most popular one?
The Sewing Machine Operator Program, that's the textile industry. It's our oldest program, and it has continued to have as much demand now as it did from the beginning.
So that's where the most opportunities are?
Yes, at the moment.
So there's something I got from the statement. You say decent work. So this decent work, how do you, in this context, what is decent work?
Decent work is a place where you get fair pay. Like we have employer partners that we work with at Generation. So there are some guidelines that we give them. They have to meet the safeguarding guidelines, because these are young people. We don't want them to go and be exploited in their areas of work. So decent work means a place where you have fair pay.
So it's more about the pay and not what they're doing.
No, it's about the pay and the environment as well.
Okay.
You need to be safeguarded. Yeah. Like we get into, contracts with these employer partners where they have to meet the minimum requirements to show us that our learners will actually be safe. And then it's somewhere where you need to develop your career. There needs to be a career progression sort of thing. So that's what we mean by decent work. It's fair pay, safe environment, and career progression.
Yeah, that's amazing. Can you share with us maybe some success stories of some of the women who've gone through your programs?
Yes, absolutely. We had someone called Judith. She dropped out of Form 4. She was not able to finish to go to school after that. And then she joined our program. And before she joined our program, she had a job where she was earning only 5,000. And then she joined our program, and 4 weeks later, she graduated. And the beauty with our program is after graduation, we give you an opportunity to interview with the employer partners. And we don't send you to the interview blind. We do mock interviews. So after every graduation, with each learner, we do a mock interview so that we are able to guide you on how to, what is expected in an interview, what are some of the questions, how you can dress and that kind of thing. Anyway, long story short, she did get a job and she was able to earn minimum wage, and in her county, minimum wage was 17,000. So you can imagine from 5,000
to 12, an increase of about 12,000 shillings.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I want to know how do you partner with local organizations, for example, just to help people get employment as well?
Okay, so we have a business development team. So they are the ones who go to the ground and scout. We have a business development team and we have a partnerships team. So when it comes to finding employer partners, the business development team will go and, approach Spice FM, for example. We've seen you might have opportunities. We can teach our learners to do production or media or journalism, that kind of thing.
Right.
And then we come into an agreement with them whereby if our learners complete this education, this training that we are doing, you can give them an interview opportunity. So there's that aspect of business development, and then there's the aspect of partnerships. So our partnerships team can go and find and partner with the county government. They can partner with the private sector, and they can find funding for the organization. So it's both on partnerships and on business development. That's how we get people on board.
Yeah, do you in any case partner maybe with government or other stakeholders to ensure that there's more impact for women?
Absolutely.
And how's that going?
It's going good. It's going very well. For example, like the sewing machine operator program I was talking about, overall in generation, since we started, 60% of our learners, of our graduates have been women. So yes, we are an equal opportunity employer, but you find that, especially in these rural areas, when one woman graduates, then she tends to tell the community about it. So we partner with the county governments. For example, in the sewing machine operator program, we have a county government like Taita County who actually keep bringing learners to us into the new cohorts. In Nakuru, we partner with Nakuru County who are assisting us in the digital freelancing program. So we do have those partnerships with the government. Yeah.
I'm curious. So, people graduate. How long is the course, or the period when you're training them, and what are the clusters like numbers? So if it's a cohort, how many people do you graduate per class? I don't know, what does that look like?
Okay, so depending on the program and depending on the demand, so the sewing machine operator program, like we said, is the one with the biggest demand right now. So you'll find per cohort, it has about 140 learners in class at a time. And then we have something like the digital customer service program, which has about 40 to 60 learners in class at a time. And the reason why we do this is we do not just train the youth and let them go out free. We only train when there is demand. So depending on the demand, then that's how we determine the size of the cohort.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, guys, if you're just joining us, we are with Shelmith Khendi. She's the head of people and culture at Generation Kenya. And today, we're talking all things empowering marginalized women through skills for decent work. We really appreciate the work that you're doing, Khendi.
Thank you.
And for folks who want to, support you in one way or the other, maybe businesses out there, how can they go about this?
Okay, so as we were saying, we have a partnerships team. We can always link them up with the partnership team, and we can always link them up with the business development team. So it doesn't matter how, which area they're in, they can always reach out to us, and then we will determine internally who's the best person to support them in terms of the next steps in Generation Kenya.
Yeah. Amazing. How do you see the future of women's empowerment in Kenya, by the way? Is it progressive? Are we heading towards the right trajectory?
Yes. I think it's progressive. I mean, we have a lot of institutions that are now empowering the girl child to the point where at some point it was almost becoming a debate that we are forgetting the boy child. So I think we are doing...
It's too ago.
I feel like that's very
My brother.
Hey. Forget about the men, no?
Yeah.
The true was from the heart. I'm so sorry.
It was from the heart.
Felt the energy,
Yes.
True.
I was like, yes.
Everything is about the women.
Honestly, I feel like many men are being neglected. As much as, the marginalized women, we also have a very big issue with the men.
Very true.
Yeah.
My dad is in his 80s, and we're having a loose conversation with him. When you go home for Christmas, he's like, my son, the girl shout has been amplified.
Amplified.
What about us? What are you doing about it? As our time has passed.
Oh my God.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Because now it's everything. No, like I'm not hating or anything, but I'm just saying, there's so much emphasis on the girl child and women empowerment and everything, which is
very
great.
little for men.
And then it gets to a point where guys just feel, hey, CC, a guy just over there clearing his throat in the middle of a conversation of babes, and there's nothing wrong with that. But we feel like we've been left out.
I'm so sorry.
Do you feel the same?
No, I do not feel the same.
Why don't you feel the same?
It's the main
because
agenda.
I feel like right now you're empowering this girl child who can also support you as the men in the community.
They don't want to support us as the men. The women don't want to support the men.
I'm supported by my woman. Speak for yourself, bro.
No, I'm just saying. Okay. Congratulations, and that's a big blessing.
Yo, we need to work on that story. We figure out where
Absolutely.
tighten up some areas.
We want to know all the levels of support.
Yeah.
So, let's just focus. Let's see these marginalized women. What's the best way of creating awareness with all these issues that they're facing right now?
I think the best way is word of mouth, because there's this way where you can only do so much through media. We have to recognize that some areas actually have no radio, have no TV.
True.
So when we say word of mouth is like when we're saying like this lady that we have changed her life through generation. She'll go back to her community who have no idea what generation is, and they can actually observe her life changing, and they'll be curious like what is happening, or she can actually tell them how she got to where she is. So I feel like there's that part of word of mouth. There's what we call mobilization as well, where our team at Generation actually goes to these communities and does like a sort of community sensitization about what we do. So I feel like for those marginalized communities who tend to be in areas where maybe there's not much exposure media-wise, word of mouth works best.
I believe in word of mouth.
Yes.
What are some of those plans and initiatives that Generation Kenya is working on?
Yeah.
And how can Kenyans be a part of this whole initiative, just to increase impact in society?
Yeah. So our initiative is still the same, just to educate people and get them into employment, so how Kenyans can come in and help us.
Yeah, and how do you have any upcoming ones?
Yes, we have.
Any new projects maybe?
Okay, we have some new projects that are being worked on. I don't know if I should speak about them.
Why not?
But let's say for the digital freelancing program that we already have, we are looking at how we can revamp the curriculum to make it more modern. At the end of the day, it's digital. Things are always changing. AI is coming in and making it something that is sustainable for us. We're also looking at how we can join into new programs. There's a research going on how we can join new industries and create new curriculums that are relevant to the upcoming industries in the country.
Yeah.
So how the team can support us is, they can always reach out to us. We are very listening, organization, because our aim is to create impact in the community.
Yeah.
So they can always reach out to us, and we can link them up. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
Because you mentioned the sewing
machine operator
SMO. Program. SMO program is like the most popular.
Yes.
Do you have some of your graduates who end up finding themselves in creative spaces?
Yes.
For example, like the handmade product market, because that's pretty big right now, and I can tell you for a fact because I've been part of several events where all these people are like gathered in one space, and you have people doing clothes, you have people doing furniture, you have people doing all sorts of things, but they're handmade in Kenya. Do you have any of your graduates who end up finding themselves in these spaces, or would you be looking to partner with such people?
We would always be looking to partner with such people, but we have some of our graduates. If you allow me to talk about, there was a project we were handling with Nashipai and SIDA as our partners, and we were training deaf women. And you see, this is an example of a marginalized community.
True.
And they end up working for Nashipai. When I said Nashipai, I think you recognize who they are probably.
Yes.
Yes. So they do the handmade leather products. You get the best bags and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's an example of how they have ended up into this.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
Great good stuff.
That's amazing. So the
Thank
future
you.
of this, where do you see this? Where do you see this going? What you're doing?
Oh, I see it, just getting better. We see creating more employment opportunities for youth, especially because there's this hunger where it's almost always left out to the government. So I'm proud to work in an organization that is actually trying to bridge this gap and help the young community, because at the end of the day, when we all have economic stability, then, it works even for the country in general.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as we wrap up this conversation, what is your message to women out there who feel stuck and don't know how to access opportunities?
My message to you is, I know it can be discouraging, but try and take the first step. If you see something that you're curious about, it never hurts to ask. If you see something you're interested in, just ask. You would be surprised what you land into, and you'd be surprised like how that would change your life. So my message to you is just try and take the first step.
Yeah.
Be curious. Don't be stuck in where you are. Always keep dreaming about where you would want to be.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
What's your contact information?
Okay, so for Generation Kenya, the best way to reach us is through our website. So that's www.kenya.generation.org.
Fantastic.
Yeah, you'll find all our details there.
Thank you so much for being so resourceful.
Thank you.
Guys, if you're just listening to us right now, we'll make a conversation. Remember, we've been having a conversation with Shelmith Khendi. She's the head of people and culture at Generation Kenya. And today it was all about empowering marginalized women through skills for decent work. Asante sana.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff.
Good music is timeless.
Okay, we're gonna do a few songs.
Spice FM.